All right, so that was quite an unusual launch experience. Water's still very high here in South Louisiana from a week of east winds, plus the passage of Hurricane Nate. But I'm heading out today to see if a typical fall pattern is going on this year, and that's fishing stick baits over grass beds. It is usually killer this time of year. Gotten some reports it may be going on this year already. Catch a lot of fish and also some really nice fish. Conditions look perfect today. Dead flat calm, got a little bit of cloudy sky, kind of partly cloudy. I'm very optimistic. We'll see what happens. What a beautiful day here in South Louisiana. The water is flat calm and it is gorgeous. Now pulled into this area, it's the mouth of a bayou. We've got a good falling tide this morning. I don't see any grass, but there should be grass here. I may not be seeing it simply because this water is just so high covering the grass beds. But I'm gonna give it a whirl and see if I can find some grass beds and some speckled trout that are holding inside of them. Today I'm throwing my favorite stick bait, is the Rapala X-Wrap. This is just a fantastic bait. The Rapala X-Wrap suspends, but it's got a lip here on the front, so when you twitch it, it goes down, kind of almost maybe floats up a little bit depending on how salty the water is. But boy, when speckled trout hit it, they just rip the rod out of your hands. Just an explosive strike. There's no doubt about it. Very important when throwing these stick baits, you definitely want to wear some sunglasses. You don't want a trout hitting the bait and throwing it close to the boat and having that lure come right back and hit you in the face. Quality sunglasses are worth their weight in gold. Okay, that's a good sign we got some grass in the area. Just snagged a little bit of eel grass. I love fishing eel grass. It's very fisher friendly. There's a fish. There's a fish. It doesn't feel like a giant, but it's a fish. Definitely not a giant. Probably a keeper. But I'm not keeping fish today, so we're gonna let him go. And he smacked it. 12 and a half, so we're gonna let him go. All right, so my X-Wrap is not giving me the bites I feel like it should. My working theory is that the water's too high over the grass and this just is not getting down deep enough. So I'm gonna put on something that's gonna get a little bit deeper and see what happens. All right, so I opted to go with a Miralure 52 MR. This one kind of has a purple back. It's an old school bait, but believe me, it still works. Let's see what happens. All right, so that was a bust as well. Changing from the 52 MR, which is really a great bait, just not delivering for me today. So I'm gonna try a Matrix Minnow. It's a much smaller profile bait and it sinks really quickly. So we'll see if that'll get down to the fish. Oh wait, there's a fish. There's a fish. I don't know if he's gonna make it, but doesn't really matter today. Oh yeah, he'll make it. Beautiful fish. That's what we're after. Good pair of pliers, absolutely essential with these jerk baits. Unless you enjoy getting hooked in the finger. It's about a 13, 14 inch fish, really fat. Look how fat that fish is. We're gonna let him go. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. Boy, is that beautiful. Is that pretty or what? Water's just gorgeous. Another keeper. These are perfect eating size speckled trout. This one's getting a new lease on life. See you, buddy. Oh boy, did he nail it. Good night. Not a big fish, but boy, he hit it. Definitely a keeper. Better than I thought. Look at that. Look at that. Another 13 inch fish. Oh, there's one. There's a fish. There is a fish. Not a giant, but again, a keeper. Why start your big motor when you got a trolling motor? I don't understand it. Good night. There's a trout. That's a baby. That's a baby. That one won't make the team. So a fish like this, definitely one that rode out the summer in the interior, could actually be the result of this year's spawn. Fish that spawned maybe early in April, or it could have been holdover from last year, maybe spawned last September or so. But he'll be keeper size within just a few weeks, believe it or not, eating all these shrimp. So I've gotten several hits today with the bait just sitting still. Water temperature is 80 degrees. You wouldn't think that'd be the case. You think they'd be more aggressive. But you got to figure out the fish every day, and that's what they're telling me today. So I've really kind of slowed down my presentation. You know, some people fish these stick baits. They almost fish them like a topwater bait, kind of like walking the dog. I generally don't. Just make a cast, let it settle a little bit, just give it a twitch, and let it sit still. Another twitch, and another twitch. Sometimes I fish it faster than that, but today they seem to want it kind of slow. Oh, he hit me right by the boat. Baby, baby, baby. Not a big fish. We're gonna let him go. Oh, that's a good one. That was a good hit. Not a good fish, but it was a good hit. I mean a baby. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. All right, so today's trip revealed two things to me, at least. The first is that this stick bait bite is definitely going on. Now, I happen to fish today in Lake Pontchartrain, but believe me, this is happening all over the entire coast. Few of the keys, you've got to find grass beds. Today I fished over mostly eelgrass, but this happens as well over hydrilla, milfoil, whatever kind of grass you got in your area. You want to find a falling tide where shrimp are being sucked from the backwater marshes into a bigger body of water. When that grass is in that area, the shrimp kind of come into there. They try and hide in the grass. The trout know this, so they run over those grass beds and spook up the shrimp and go in and ambush them. It is an extremely fun way of fishing. Now, the second thing I learned today is that although the stickbait bite is going on, it's not at its peak yet. Definitely not. Caught a ton of small fish today. Also caught a good number of keepers. Now, I didn't keep any fish. I threw everything back, but I would have had plenty enough for a good meal if I brought the ice chest and taken a few home. Now, the hot bait today was this Matrix minnow. As I mentioned earlier, I really like the Rapala X-Wrap, but I think with this water still being so high, there was such a big gap between the surface of the water and the surface of the grass. So the X-Wrap just wasn't getting down far enough where those fish would see it. This bait sinks like a stone. It really falls very, very quickly. It's also got a lip on it, so as you're twitching it, it's diving down, diving down, diving down. So eventually this bait gets really, really low in the water column. You almost kind of sometimes have to keep your rod tip up to keep it up out of that grass. Now, of course, no bait is right for every situation, and this one certainly isn't either. If you're fishing something that's a little more shallow, maybe you've got 2 feet of water, but you've got a foot of grass with maybe a foot of water on top of it, this bait's going to dig into that grass and cause you all kind of fits. That X-Wrap would then be a better bait for that. But when you get a situation like this, today we had 5 to 6 feet of water where I was fishing, but you know that grass is only growing up about a foot or so off the bottom. This was a perfect bait for that. Also, it's a smaller profile, and the fish today were not big, so they weren't intimidated by this. They weren't swimming away from it or anything. They saw it and they went and hit it. So water temperatures today with low 80s, very, very warm. Here we are in mid-October, but the water temperatures are still up. We need some cool fronts. When we get those, that outside water is going to cool down a good bit, and those speckled trout are going to really move inside. I definitely caught some fish today that I feel like were fish that had moved in from outside, but most of the fish I caught today, I think were fish that spent the summer here in the inside waters and are still trying to fatten up to get big enough to mature to spawn next year. So get out there and fish. It is going on. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully get some fronts here in the next couple of weeks, and once we do, things are just going to be rolling. It's going to be outstanding action here in South Louisiana. Well, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe on YouTube, Marshman Masson. That's the way you'll get to see all the videos we produce, and believe me, we got plenty more coming. Good luck out there.